We've had an IG Q&A the other day, and someone asked, what would you do? How would you start all over again if you would be on your way to your first million, aka you desire to make $1 million in 2024? So we are already by the end of September. That means we're having October, November, December, which is roughly 90 days. Obviously, it is a very different starting point in my view if you are bringing some income from the last 9 months to the table, or if you're literally starting from scratch. Welcome to the podcast, Manifesting Big Money Fast. My name is Janine Hurd. I am so excited that you found this podcast or that you're tuning in to another episode. This podcast is all about manifestation, big money, energetics, spirituality, how it's all connected, and most importantly, how you can increase your bank account right now. So let's dive in today's episode. The first thing that came to my mind when I saw this question was, I would immediately jump into Manifesting Big Money Fast, the university, and hire myself as a one-on-one coach. And here's why. Yes, you can figure out everything on your own. Yes, you can do everything on your own. It's like building a house, right? Wouldn't you agree? Yes, you can teach yourself every step of how to build a house. It's kind of, you can become an architect, you can become a plumber. It's like, there's like a handyman for so many things. So many different people with so many different skill sets are involved when it comes to building a house. And of course, you can teach yourself, right? No one doubts that. The question is, however, first of all, do you desire to teach yourself? Is this something you would love to dedicate your time to, your life to? Second, always, is this important to you to move into your house, to move into your million as soon as possible or not? And can you see, to all those questions, there is no right or wrong. There is just personal preference. And for me, it was always very important to build my business, to have a financially thriving business, and to manifest big money fast. Oh, what a surprise. That's exactly what I'm teaching you. But I'm teaching this not from a perspective of, I think this will create an amazing business, but it's like, these are things which were important to me, which are still important to me. And that's why I've invested so much, over 2.5 million I shared the other day, in all the skills I have when it comes to the topic of manifesting big money fast. So if $1 million this year is important to you, I would invest in people that can teach you. It is the same when it comes to building a house. Wouldn't you agree? If you have no idea how to build a house by the end of the year, but it's super important for you to move in by the end of the year, you would hire all the people that can make it happen. It's so obvious. But when it comes to our own business, our own skill set, we always, not always, but many people don't invest on this mentality of all in. And you've probably heard this over and over, like, be all in, be all in. And I think when we use this word all in, it is not pretty clear. It doesn't create a clear picture of what that actually means. That means when we come back to this house example, you are all in. Is the plumber, the wood person, the kitchen person, the bathroom person, the architect, interior architect, exterior architect, interior designer. I don't know if you have a fireplace, someone that comes, if you have a pool, all those different people involved in order to make it happen that by the end of the year you can move into your house, right? This is all in. You hire all the people simultaneously. And here's the thing. Then you step out of the way and they do the work. So when it comes to a house, obviously this process works. I deeply believe when it comes to your business, you can learn and master all those different skills. As in, yes, you can hire a support system, but there is still a great responsibility on your end. It is the same. Yes, you can hire all those people for your house, and you have to have some kind of coordinator, a developer who coordinates all the people, who orders all the materials, all those things. And this person in a business context is you. And if you've ever been in some kind of position where you're coordinating people, you know for sure, very often, you also step into the shoes of the other person. Sometimes you're working more with an interior designer and all of a sudden you learn so much about interior design. Sometimes you're working closer with an architect. It is the same in a business context. Sometimes you will work closer on manifesting. Sometimes it's like opening up your mindset, the frequency of big. Sometimes it is the frequency of fast. That is authenticity. Are you really asking for what you truly desire, or are you just following society's plans of the things you should have, the money you should be making? And that is a very different conversation. And part of this also is because we are having a business, we are business owners. Okay, we also got to talk about business strategy in a way. Does this make sense? So there are many skills you got to master. And because you have to, because you want fast results. It's like you want to be able to move into your house as fast as possible. And we're also having examples out there. For instance, if you're from Germany, you know this. We had an airport. Berlin is our capital. The airport, I think, was opened with a delay of 10 years or even more than 10 years. Obviously, their priority, their focus was not on the frequency of fast. But there's no right or wrong. It's still open. It's still an okay airport. It's still working. But if it would have been important, for instance, to open this airport 10 years ago and to use less taxpayer money, to be more conscious with taxpayer money, can you see different decisions would have had to happen? And this is here true as well. For some of you, it is important to make $1 million by the end of the year. For some of you, it's not. For some of you, it's important to make $1 million next year. For some of you, it's never important. But based on what you value and what's important to you, get help, go all in. And this is why I've manifested fast. This is why I'm continuously receiving fast, because things which are important to me, I go all in and I get the full support team on simultaneously and implement. This is very important. It is not just enough. I see this so often. People say, I booked a mentor. Yeah, but it's great that you book a mentor, but if you don't do the work, it's like an architect, it's a beautiful, if he can paint the house, how it's going to look like. This is like booking the architect, but it doesn't mean, unless you have a contractor and a developer, that this house that's on a picture right now is being developed. So there's always execution. And just because you hire a mentor, but then you don't execute, it's not going to work. Otherwise, you're just going to have this beautiful painting, this paper house. Or what I see very often is you hire a mentor, aka you hire an architect, you receive a fabulous house, and then you think you know everything better than the architect, aka the mentor, and you do the polar opposite, and it doesn't work. And if you've been someone like that has been hiring mentors and you haven't received the output, I definitely would check in this. Did you actually execute, or did you actually execute the polar opposite? And you will be surprised how many of you are hiring mentors and are not doing the execution or the polar opposite execution. And there is an underlying belief why you do this. And that is, you can't trust people. You cannot accept the support system. And if you've been in She Loves With Me, if you haven't, and you feel this truly resonates with you, do this program. Because we are going in many human experiences you had. And these experiences allowed you, instead of opening your heart and trusting people, the universe, everything you receive, you've rather started closing up your heart and doing the polar opposite. And this is not healthy, and that is for sure not on the frequency of fast. However, this is on you and not on other people. And that's why in this work, I always say, in order to manifest, we have to be able to feel. And in order to truly have an open heart and feel, you have to navigate through the pain we all experienced in life. Because otherwise, all of us, including myself, we would be instant manifestors. And the more I've been doing this work, I see this, how fast, how many instant manifestations I'm experiencing over and over and over again. And I also see in certain areas when it's not happening so fast, that underlying pain is the root cause. Something happened. We don't have to know what. It doesn't have to be dramatic. But on a cellular level, something is stored that doesn't allow us to open our heart. And this may sound very dramatic, but it's not. When we were in Portugal this summer, I did go to shiatsu every week. It's kind of like a Japanese massage. And my shiatsu teacher always focused on my hip because one side is less flexible than the other. And I thought, okay, I dedicate my hip this summer to have the same flexibility in both sides. And it was so interesting. Obviously, I knew this before, but to experience this every time we were working on this one hip side, like he moved, he stretched differently. So many different like emotions, childhood memories were coming up, not painful memories. Like also memories where I was playing with friends, maybe someone said something mean, maybe someone even took a strawberry from me. Very, very silly things. Like sometimes people think like, oh, it's about the drama, the abuse. It's not. It's very silly things, very often, that happened in the past, which are stored in our cells, in our body, in different body parts. And that's why I love this work so much of manifesting big money fast and all the work, the different components we do in the university. Because for me, the money I'm receiving is a byproduct of the woman I became, aka how open my heart is and how much more I can allow myself to feel it all, to communicate it, to step into this version, into this woman with an open heart. And I truly hope for you, whatever your goal is for the end of the month, make it about the money and make it about the woman or the man you are becoming on the way. And what is that version you desire for yourself to become? Because when I ask myself, and if this is interesting to you, let's have a chat on Instagram. Let me know, and I'm sharing more. For me, yes, I want to build this business that makes $150 million in sales. And I'm super excited because I clearly communicated with myself, who's Janine becoming? Like, who's the woman? What is she mastering? What is she leading? How is she showing up? What she's feeling? And I am genuinely excited to become this woman and to grow into her every day more and more and more and more. And that excites me. And I know as I am being more in service to humanity, I will always receive money. Why? Because I've built my own economy. And I truly hope this is something you feel for yourself. To build your own financial economy, to build financial peace. And this is the third part we focus on in Manifesting Big Money Faster University. It is a managing and multiplying the money you have. And this is not, I say this over and over again, I'm like in what you should invest. Like, oh, is this crypto? Is this? It doesn't matter. First, we have to build an economy. And this is a whole different conversation. I love you. You've got this. And if you haven't signed up for the VIP version, it is insane. There are so many powerful podcast episodes, especially the last ones. I highly recommend you to do this. And if you reach out to me on Instagram, there is a special prize for the first month of the podcast. No strings attached. It's cancel anytime. But I can tell you, once you're in, you will love it. I talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast Manifesting Big Money Fast. I've got 3 very important announcements for you. First, if you like what you're listening, make sure you leave some gratitude, leave a review, share the podcast. Second, if you love what you're listening to and you want more of that, there is a VIP version available. That means you will have access to 3 podcast episodes every single week. Simply check out the store, courses.richandhappiness.com, or the link in the show notes. And lastly, there are always monthly money activations happening around the new moon and full moon. If that is something you're interested, check out the store for the next money activation. I love you and I can't wait to see your beautiful face soon again.